Mover Nation, it has been a day, but I have acquired all 40 plus documents that were dropped on Jeffrey Epstein today. We're going to go through them, look at them. It's going to be an adventure, but I promise it definitely will be interesting. I'm Collier Landry. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in...
When I was 12 years old, my testimony sent my father to prison for murdering my mother. I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, albeit with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. I remember one time I said to myself that I would never, I'm not going to do back-to-back lives. I'll let everything sit. I'll just try. I'll figure it out later. And guess who's back? Here we are. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, thanks for making me a part of your day again. So I just did a live a few hours ago with what I thought I would have the Epstein documents. One of the viewers was kind enough to send me a link. It was only to one document. There are 41 that I downloaded. The sites crashed. Nobody could get them. There was all this craziness. So I am here to go through these Epstein documents. We're going to be here for a minute. Cozy up. Go ahead, put the kettle on, make your favorite cup of tea. It's really cold here in Los Angeles, by the way. And it's really interesting that I say that. And I know some of you live in very cold regions of the world. But let me tell you, it was like 40, I think it was close to 52 or 48 degrees outside tonight. I was freezing. So I am hoping that you will all cozy up, and we're going to get into this because there is, oh my God, there's so much. There's so much. I can't even, the one deposition that I went through was just a deposition. It was just a deposition. That was it. There are 41 documents which I downloaded. And we're going to go through all of them. Or most of them. Or, a lot of them. I'm sure there are big staff. There are staffs of journalists that, teams that are going through all this. I'm sure it's dominating the airwaves here in the United States. I am one man, and my assistant, Court McNeil, who's in there too. She's been helping out, and but I'm here to share with what I've learned and what we've got going on. So let's get into it. All right. Now I'm going to pull these up in my little window here. And I'm going to pull them up for you guys to also look at. The Court Listener website crashed while we were trying to pull some of these documents earlier. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, for some reason my search, now the searching is working. For whatever reason, the search in the PDF was not working. Okay, so now I can officially search for names. This is fabulous. Okay, so there are, break out this folder, 41 documents. The first one is the actual release of this. All right. I'm just going to pull these one by one. Bear with me. Please, I beg, I implore your patience. But we're going to get through this. Okay. All right. Let us see. Nope. Columns. They are in downloads. Great. Downloads. All right. Epstein docs 2. The first one. It's got to process all these, by the way. So it does take a little bit. Add to the stage. This is the Honorable via ECF Loretta Preska, District Court Judge, United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Pursuant to the court's December 18th unsealing order and following conferral with defendant plaintiff files, this set of documents ordered unsealed. The filing of these documents ordered unsealed will be done on a rolling basis until completed. This filing also excludes documents pertaining to Docs 105, see December 28th, 2023, email correspondence with Chambers 107 and 110. See ECF number 1319, which I do not have access to. So these are all ECF 1320, and there are 41 of them. Well, this is number 1, so there's 40 of them. So this is the letter. Respectfully, Sigrid S. McCauley, Counsel of Record via ECF. So here we are. So welcome, everyone. Please, by the way, your support is appreciated. If you are enjoying this content, if you are liking what you're seeing, please click the like, please click subscribe, and please consider dropping a super chat or a super sticker in below, because I'm sure I'm going to go through a lot of this. You guys are going to have questions of names and who's this and this. So that would be super cool, because your support is what makes this possible. So I'm just going to do these in order. This is 1320-1. I'm going to remove this. We're going to go to the next one. This is Exhibit 4. Exhibit 4. And Exhibit 4 is from... Okay, so this is an email. Oh, boy. This is an email from gmax@ellemax.com. I am out of my depth to understanding defamation and other legal hazards and don't want to end up in a lawsuit aimed at me. From, thank you so much, Illegally Read. I appreciate the super sticker. Amazing. The U.S. lawyers for the Jane Does are filing additional discovery motions, and if I speak, I open myself to being part of discovery, apparently. I am trying to stay out of litigation and not have to employ more lawyers for years. Perhaps we have a statement of legal risk, blah, blah, blah. This looks like, it says privileged GM. I'm assuming that this is from Ghislaine Maxwell, gmmax1@ellemax.com. To Philip Barden and Ross Gow. Okay. Next. And you guys can all read these while we go through it, right? This is number 2. This is plaintiff's motion to compel. Plaintiff's motion to compel defendant to answer deposition questions filed under seal. This was filed, obviously, so this is document 1320-2. Oh, 1320-2. Now, this is obviously regarding the lawsuit with, thank you so much for the super stickers, Illegally Read. Greatly appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Plaintiff Virginia Guffrey, by and her undersigned counsel, hereby motion to compel. During her recent deposition, defendant refused to answer numerous questions about allegedly adult activity by Jeffrey Epstein, but this activity is highly relevant to this case. Okay, so now what we'll see here is Epstein. Okay. And this is talking about things in a manner that are not necessarily appropriate. This document is talking about acts that have happened things that happened with Mr. Epstein. I'm going to just kind of scroll through these. I'm not going to really discuss them. Thank you so much. I am the Gunpower for your 6-month membership. I greatly appreciate it. Time flies in the best company. And you put the little Mighty Soul sticker. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through these so you guys can check them out too. But this is discussing all things of a personal and intimate relationship with Mr. Epstein, which we don't really need to get into, but I'll show these and we'll kind of skim through them. And obviously this is in order to compel for Ghislaine Maxwell. In this lawsuit that was brought against her, and rightfully so. And some legal jargon at the end. Okay. Removed from stage. Next document. This is number 3. Also Exhibit 4. So earlier I had referenced a oh yeah. Oh boy. Videotaped deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what this is. Defendant's confidential videotape deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell taken pursuant to the subpoena. Now, this is stuff that has already, I believe, some of this stuff has come out, but not all of this. So, but again, we're in for a night. We're going to look at all these documents. I was always happy to give. She was tasked to answer. Did you ever ask her to rub Jeffrey's feet? Objection from the attorneys, I believe. I have read that, but I don't have any memory of it. I'm pretty sure Ghislaine Maxwell had a very sketchy memory of all her things that she was involved in. She is, after all, a guest of the state of Florida for the next 20 years. Or I guess 19 years now at this point. So this is this Glenn Dublin. And again, some of this might have to be, this might have already been released. I'm going to remove that. Okay, that's that one. Rolling right along. Only God knows how. Yes, you'll have to watch the replay. Cat loves cat skills. It's a lot. I totally understand. I totally understand. Oh, yes. Of course, of all she could have done with her life and her money, this is what these people have chosen to do. Virginia Guffrey, plaintiff. Okay, more confidential. Boy. Did any of the massage therapists who were at the home perform SA for Jeffrey Epstein? I don't know what you mean by acts. Oh boy. Lots of very, very interesting discussions. Were any of these things non consensual? No. How do you know that? All the time that I have been in the house, I have never seen, heard, nor witnessed, nor have reported to me that any activities took place where people were in distress, or have reported by the staff or anyone else. And my answer is based on that. Are you familiar with a person by the name of Amy Farmer? I don't know who Amy Farmer is, but performing. Was Emmy under the age of 18? Yeah, this is all really bad stuff with Ghislaine Maxwell, but we already knew that she was a shady, terrible, horrific person. Again, a guest of the state of Florida. Yeah, some things about preferences of Mr. Epstein. Okay. Here's something interesting. So this skips from page 93 to 137. By girls, we are talking about underage people. You said girls. Are you talking about underage? We are not talking about consensual acts. This is a defamation suit. I can't recollect having a meal with them, but just so we are clear, the allegations that Clinton had a meal on Jeffrey's Island are 100% false. But he may have had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. I am sure he had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. Now, talking about Bill Clinton. While you defined it, you said you were friends with him. If that's what you were, that's all I need to know. While you were on the trip with President Clinton, do you recall where you stayed at these locations? In other words, would you leave the jet and stay overnight at a hotel? Do you have a recollection of this? I recollect the trip, but if you are asking where we stayed, you can see it's a very fast-paced trip. It was very tiring. And so these pages jump from page 138 to 307. I mean, this is this is a deposition, obviously, and obviously many of these things have been redacted. So Johanna Schosberg, interesting. Worked for Jeffrey Epstein. Did she perform massages? Talking about adult consensual acts. Yeah, most of this has to do with what is in this particular document, with what was engaged. But again, these are just, pages that skip around. It jumps from 137, 138 to page 307. So obviously a lot of this has been not made public. Probably to protect, certain people that were involved as far as victims, which, I'm all for. Okay. Document number 5. Oh, boy. I don't know, Jennifer Lewis Harris. I don't know what that means. Composite Exhibit A. Still the videotaped deposition. Questions about people under the age of 18 at Epstein's home. Did you ever invite anybody who was under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's homes? Her lawyer objects. So in a deposition, when you're giving a deposition, it's not like court where you are with the judge and you are its attorneys, and basically what happens is if you're asked questions that you don't want to answer, right? And I know this because I've been through this. And your lawyer objects, you still have to answer the question, but your lawyer files an objection which goes on record right here. So when anyone is looking back at it for the court, like if you go to court, right, it's noted that they objected to the question. So it's just making a reference, but they still have to answer the question. So you'll see oftentimes in these depositions, there's an objection, an objection, an objection. They still have to answer the question. It's not like in court where objection overruled and you hear all that stuff. This is, you got to answer the question. At least my experience in depositions. Like, look, I am not a lawyer. I am not a psychologist. I do not work in law enforcement. I'm just a guy who's been through a lot of shit. And so that's my perspective, which I'm providing you guys. But I'm telling you that this is how it's worked whenever I've given a deposition. My lawyer said, objection. He still had to answer the question. How it was explained to me. Questions about meeting the plaintiff and messages with the plaintiff. When she arrived at the home, and again, this is the plaintiff. This is Miss Roberts. Miss Roberts. Have you visited Mar-a-Lago? Yes. Did you visit Mar-a-Lago in the year 2000? I'm pretty sure I did. When Miss Roberts arrived at the home with her mother, what happened? I spoke to her mother outside the house, and what I don't recall is exactly what happened because I was talking to her mother the entire time. Blah, 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 blah. Questions about massages with minors. So these have all been organized. Again, I just told you I don't recall. Questions about Mr. Epstein. Questions about Sarah Kellen, Annie Farmer, Glenn Dubbin. Objection to the form and foundation. Da-da. Slide 28. Let me see how long this document is. Let's see here. So now I'm going to go and look into. So what are we looking for names? We're looking for Clinton, Maxwell. Who else? I'm sure a lot of people ask about Trump. Outfits and toys and Epstein. So these are all related to questions about training the plaintiff to recruit girls for massages. Just really bad stuff. Just all. Questions about Miss Maxwell's relationship with Mr. Epstein. You said you were in a home for a very limited time, so average in the year for 2004. How many times would you have been in his Palm Beach home? So they were together. It sounds like they were partners in crime for a very, very long time, which I had believed they were anyways. Questions about recurring. Dawn's Delights art. Just maybe some coffee in my favorite cup. Even the bags under my eyes are designer. Thank you, caller. You're sending lots of loves from Virginia. You are welcome. During the time were you working for Jeffrey? So now I'm curious. Let's see here. Just making sure the one that I read earlier. That's my little trackball making noise, by the way, guys. Okay. Let's go slide 48, 49. More things about preference with the massages with Epstein. Questions about underage. Jean-Luc Brunel and outfits. No, there were no girls. Objection to this form of foundation. Were there any girls under the age of 18 on the island during the one visit you remember that were not family or friends or daughters of your friends? There were no girls on the island at all. So they show her Exhibit 6 flight logs marked for identification. Did you ever provide Virginia Roberts with outfits and outfit of a sexual nature to wear for Les Wexner? Leslie Wexner, who opened the Wexner Center. He's from Columbus, Ohio. Owned the Limited Brands. I went to the Wexner Center when I was a child with my mother when it opened in 1989 on the Ohio State University campus. I'm assuming it's still there. A massive donor. I will also believe he owns the Limited Brands, which includes Victoria's Secret. If I'm not mistaken, that might be wrong. Limited owned, like, obviously Express and the Limited, and I think Structure was a brand. These are all like Ohio brands. Bed Bath and Beyond, or no, Bath and Body Works, I think was a one of those brands, Limited Brands. Woo. These people. Thank you so much, Airdrie. Pictures about naked girls. I have no recollection to anybody on the computer. Were the images, whether they were be under the age of, I mean, what a just questions about topless females. And that's the last page. Wow. What a life. All for money, which I think is what makes it all really bad. Well, even worse, actually. Okay. 1326. Let's see. Maybe I can catch ahead. Let me catch up here. Yeah, I can even get a couple. Nah. I have to add all these manually, guys, so just bear with me here. Gonna try to catch up, though. Okay. This is U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York. Ms. Gruffley, in terms of strongly disprove defendant's false assertions and to demonstrate the defendant recruited Ms. Guffrey to be involved in massages of a nature with Epstein to develop evidence to support her position. Depose defendant about the central subjects in her case. According to the flight manifest, in that same general time, defendant was listed as a passenger at least 11 times, either landing in or departing from West Palm Beach, Florida, on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane. Oh, man. Moreover, again, according to the flight logs, defendant was on Epstein's planes over 300 times, including 23 times with Miss Guffrey when Miss Guffrey was underage. What a tangled web. Defendant even testified. I'm so glad that I got my eyes done. So now I'm reading this without glasses. It's so amazing to me. even though I really don't like reading this stuff, I will tell you it is nice to to be able to read it without glasses. Um, as the court knows, but Palm Beach massages given. Palm Beach police report exhibit. Defendant is also identified in Palm Beach Police Department police report. Epstein's activities to allow defendants to avoid answering these questions would preclude Miss Guffrey from getting critical evidence in this case. Consider, for example, defendant recruiting an 18-year-old girl to be a, quote, assistant, bringing that girl to Epstein's home, telling her that she could make more money if she would give Epstein a massage, and then instructing her to give the massage that involved different acts. Under defendant's theory of discovery, Miss Guffrey would be precluded from deposing her on that topic because the actions would culminate in consensual acts. It would obviously show a modus operandi by Jeffrey Epstein and defendant, which is clearly admissible under the federal evidence. Wow. Just, okay, going back to where we stated, does Ghislaine Maxwell have knowledge that the girls would ever come over to Jeffrey Epstein are roughly in the same age group as C and T, who are minor children, and have a good time, as you put it? Yes. And what was her involvement and or knowledge about that? She knew what was going on. Well, we already know that Ghislaine Maxwell is a bad person. So now I think what we need to do is what we all want to see is like, who is involved in all this? So as we're going to keep going through the documents, we shall see. This is Exhibit 4 again. Another Exhibit 4. Plaintiff. This is document 1327. Oh, I am thrilled I can read freely too. This is a little hard to read. Primary reasons you carried cash was to pay the girls in this age group of C and T for whatsoever happened in the house, right? The witness, yes. What a just absolutely horrific group of individuals. The videographer might as well change the tapes. Oh, man. The three persons to be subpoenaed: Jeffrey Epstein, Sarah Kellen, and Nadia Marshenkova. Plaintiff's non-redacted motion for leave to serve 3 deposition subpoenas by means other than personal service. At the heart of this case lies Ms. Guffrey's allegations that she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, and that they played roles in a trafficking organization. The defendant has called Ms. Guffrey a liar, and Ms. Guffrey is now in the process of assembling testimony and evidence to prove the truth of her allegations. This is all the background on the case in this exhibit. Jeffrey Epstein is not the only key witness who has been evading Ms. Guffrey's efforts to depose them. The next echelon in the organization below Epstein and the defendant includes Sarah Kellen and Nadia Marshenkova. Ms. Guffrey alleges they were heavily involved in trafficking. Both Kellen and Marshenkova appear repeatedly on the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein's aircrafts. Pity we don't age backwards. Yeah, Black Widow. That's a pity we don't. Absolutely. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell, fifth, is that somebody who helped Jeffrey Epstein devise a scheme to allow him to access a variety of underage females? Fifth. Oh, yes. They all plead the fifth. Who is this? Marchinkova has also been evading service of the subpoena. Ms. Guthrie's investigators made over 10 attempts to personally serve her and counsel. Thank you so much, Marie Hathaway, for the super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Your support makes all this worth it. Thank you so much. Macaulay, is it true that yourself, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Sarah Kellen had access to a master list of underage names and phone numbers so they could be called to Jeffrey Epstein's house? Fifth. So just please the fifth the whole way. What a surprise. Just terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, that was the 8. Oh, no. I guess maybe we can try this a little easier. Let's see. Sometimes sharing the screen does not work. Let's share. Let's see if this works. All right, cool. This way we can search. So, this is District Court, Jane Doe, motions pursuant, factual background. I like this better. This is easier to read for everyone. As with Jane Doe 1, 2, and 3, repeatedly abused. Thank you so much, Carrie Pelton, for the super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Super stickers are super stickers, super chats. Greatly appreciated, guys. Thank you. Your support makes all this possible. In 1999, Jane Doe 3 was approached by Ghislaine Maxwell, one of the main women whom Epstein used to procure girls for activities and a primary co-conspirator. I mean, there's just so... I think these people just thought that they could completely live freely without impunity and destroy people's lives. I think Ghislaine Maxwell even offered some very half-assed apology or something, or maybe not. Maybe she was indignant. I can't remember. I did do an episode about it, but I can't remember how, like, if she was indignant or what. Just a horrible person. She knew precisely what she was doing. I understand that coercive control is a very powerful thing, but you are welcome, Joanne Taylor. Again, if you guys are supportive of this, please consider throwing up a super chat, a super sticker. It's greatly appreciated. Epstein's purposes in lending. Oh, okay. Epstein also trafficked the minor, making her available to politically connected and financially powerful people. So obviously he was, oh boy, one such powerful individual that Epstein forced then minor to have relations with was former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, a close friend of Epstein's and well-known criminal defense attorney. I remember reading Alan Dershowitz books when I was growing up. Really a shame. There he is, just named in all of this, who said he wasn't. Dershowitz was an eyewitness to that and many of Epstein and Epstein's conspirators. I'm leaving out, obviously, keywords that trigger YouTube. But This is really bad stuff. Dershowitz, along with other members of his defense team and the government, tried to keep the immunity provision secret from all of Epstein's victims and the general public, even though such secrecy violated the Victims' Rights Act. Thus, Dershowitz helped negotiate an agreement with a provision that provided protection for himself against criminal prosecution in Florida for abusing Jane Doe. Because this broad immunity would have been controversial if disclosed, Dershowitz, along with other members of his defense team, had secured against the Victims' Rights Act. I mean, just absolutely just disgraced. For instance, one such powerful individual Epstein forced Jane Doe was a member of the British royal family, Prince Andrew, a.k.a. the Duke of York. I feel so bad for these women, these girls. This is just... Maxwell facilitated Prince Andrew's acts by acting as a madam for Epstein. I mean, we knew all this. Jane Doe was forced to have relations when she was a minor in 3 separate geographical locations: London, Maxwell's apartment, New York, and on Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands. Many of the girls came from poor countries or impoverished backgrounds, and he lured them with the promise of making good money. Of course. They wanted opportunities. They did what they could to survive, and he took advantage of them. Typical predator fashion. It really is quite a shame that he was never brought to justice. Epstein also trafficked Jane Doe to many other powerful men, including prominent American politicians, powerful business executives, foreign presidents, a well-known prime minister, and other world leaders. The government was well aware of Jane Doe number 3 when it was negotiating the NPA. I used to know what NPA means. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, as I said. Non-performing asset? No, I don't know what that means. Legal. NPA, non-prosecution agreements. So it's part of his plea deal. NPA is a plea deal, non-prosecution agreement. Plea deal. The government was well aware, as in the United States government was well aware of what had happened when they negotiated and listed her as a victim in the attachment to the document. Yeah, absolutely, Joanne Taylor. It is as bad as we thought it was. And yes, prayers to these poor women. Yeah, Dershowitz did represent Trump, didn't he? I totally forgot about that, which he was very liberal, if I remember correctly. So I thought that was very interesting when he got involved in all that. Unbelievable. Yeah, Alan, just FYI, in case anyone else wants to follow along, I have the show cast to my TV, and it brought up the documents on my app to follow along. Good to know. Good to know. The government concealed the non-prosecution agreement from Jane Doe number 3, and all in violation of her rights under the CVRA. I think that's the Victims' Rights Act, Criminal Victims' Rights Act. to avoid Jane Doe from raising powerful objections to the NPA that would have shed tremendous public light on Epstein and other powerful individuals, and that would likely have prevented it from being concluded in a secretive manner in which it was. Again, even in justice, these people are being silenced. It's really sad. Really sad. Just terrible. Oh, I gotta do this every time now? Oh, come on. All right. Let's see if I can open up multiples of these. No, that's not going to work. All right. What was that, number 9 that we were on? Or was that 10? Oh, no, that wasn't 10. Oh, boy. Okay. So that must have been number 9 that we were just on. Number 10, plaintiff's non-redacted motion to exceed presumptive 10 deposition limit in Federal Rule Civil Procedure. Man. That's it. Okie dokie. Plaintiff's non-redacted motion to exceed. Thank you so much, Maureen Francis, for the super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Ghislaine's father, Robert, was rumored to have worked with Epstein to hide money in offshore accounts. There are allegations he was killed by Mossad agents. Interesting. Oh, hi, Brian W. How are you? Since we met about a year ago, are you the law enforcement officer that I met on the campus at Pearl? Brian W. Curious if you are. Say so in the comments. I met you with my little doggy, Blondie, when she was still alive. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Well, nice to have you here, sir. Interesting you found me today of all days. That's funny. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Future depositions. Depositions taken thus far by Miss Guffrey. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously 7 hours. Joanna, and then all these people they're seeking. Wow. Discussion, conclusion. Plaintiff Virginia Guffrey. Currently, Miss Guffrey seeks leave to take more than the standard 10 depositions in this case at the time. This time she seeks to take 7 additional depositions as articulated below. Instead, during her deposition, defendant simply failed to recall many of the most significant events in this case and refused to respond directly to many important questions. As a result, Ms. Guffrey is now in a position where she has to call multiple witnesses to establish fundamental facts in the case. For example, defendant would not even admit the initials GM, which were on the private plane flight logs over 300 times, represented her initials. So obviously, Ghislaine Maxwell was being very prevaricative through all of this. Not a surprise, of course. Uh, Miss Maxwell approached Miss Soderberg on a college campus. So yeah, so this just proves, this just proves that Ghislaine Maxwell was obviously recruiting these girls on college campuses and everywhere. What a horrible, horrible individual. Terrible, terrible. Um, Sorry, I have to do the eye stuff for my eyes, the eye drops prior to my surgery, because of my surgery. Have a great night, Brian. You do the same, sir. Thank you so much. Have happy and safe. Yes, and take care of yourself, Officer Brian. And we'll see you soon, maybe on the walks. Uh, no, I did not. No, I did not go to law school. I was just interested in books at the time, and I remember my friend gave me a Dershowitz book. I can't remember what book of Alan Dershowitz I read. I think I was just trying to be a smart guy in Ohio. And maybe I would have one day would have gone to law school. Who knows? Who knows? Pervowitz, that's funny. Are you using the drops without preservatives? Yes, I am. That's why they have those little individual packets that you got to open up. I have much better ones though. There are these other ones which were Roto V, which are the other drops that I always use that had preservatives in them, but they come with a much bigger reservoir. Oh, feels so good. I have the heat on because it's freezing outside. And by freezing, I mean it's 50, 52 degrees. Oh, 54 says the iPhone. It feels like it's 20 degrees outside, guys. I know it's a California thing. It's when you go to you get spoiled by Southern California. 7 hours of deposition. I mean, I can't even imagine what. I mean, to be, just to be in this situation where you have to relive this. Whether defendant introduced Joburg to Prince Andrew. I mean, these people are horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible people. I hope they all rot in hell. Whether defendant could recall Epstein and former President Clinton being friendly towards each other. Whether the defendant knew flight logs produced by Dave Rogers, one of Epstein's pilots, were accurate. Some of these things I'm obviously not calling out just because of the algorithm and YouTube and all the monitoring. But you guys can read these. I like this much better because this is much, I think it's much easier for everyone to read. Whether if Alfredo Rodriguez said that the defendant had knowledge that underage girls were coming to Epstein's Florida mansion. Informing the press that Miss Guffrey committed grand theft. Because the defendant refused to answer those questions, Ms. Guffrey needs to depose other witnesses who have the requisite knowledge to testify concerning those issues. So, interesting enough. All right, so at the beginning of this, I just jumped way ahead. Conclusion. Ms. Guffrey respectfully requests that she be allowed to take a total of 17 depositions in this case. Stated, I don't know who paid for all her legal stuff. Nina Sage, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. It's 32 degrees on Philadelphia's main line. Well, that's why I don't live on Philadelphia's main line. Even though I was born in Bryn Mawr Hospital, many years ago, 1993. Kidding. Um, it's freezing in San Diego too. I can imagine. If it's freezing here in Santa Monica, it's freezing. Yeah, it's terrible. And I realize many of you are, many of you are in places much colder than I am. It was sunny out today too. I got very excited. So if you remember at the very top, I'm going to close this out. At the very top was this letter. So at the very top was this letter, email from Ghislaine Maxwell in 2015 saying, I am out of my depth to understanding defamation and other legal hazards and don't want to end up in a lawsuit aimed at me from anyone if I can help it. Apparently, even saying Virginia is a liar has a hazard. I've never been in a suit criminal. U.S. lawyers for the Jane Does are filing additional discovery motions, and if I speak, I open myself up to being part of discovery. Apparently, I am trying to stay out of litigation and not to have to employ your lawyers for years as I get lost in this U.S. legal nightmare. I stand no legal risk currently on these old charges and civil suits against Jeffrey. We need to consult with U.S. lawyers on any statement I make. So this shows, this statement, perhaps we make a statement of the legal risk of saying anything. We make a statement of the legal risk of saying anything for potential defamation or something that prevents a full and frank, detailed rebuttal, plus the press not being the place for that. And the press not being the place for that. Regardless, Philip, please call him. Either way, I think you need to speak with him and understand my risk so you can help me understand it too. Too many cooks in the kitchen, and I can't make good decisions. Please reach out to him today. I already have suffered such a terrible and painful loss over the last few days, and I can't even see what life after press he'll even looks like. Statements that don't address all just lead to more questions. That's why what is my relationship to Clinton, Andrew, and so on. Let's rest till Monday. I need headspace. Okay, so again, so this is before those other statements, obviously. January 10th, 2015, a message from Ghislaine Maxwell basically saying that she is going to be prevaricative and evasive and not answer questions because she feels out of her element. Of course you do. You're a very bad person. I mean, this is just so bad. What did I just do? 10? Yeah, it was 10. 11. This is going to be a long night, guys. 1 hour already. Woo! Lordy. All right. Non-redacted declaration of Sigrid Macaulay in support of plaintiff's motion to exceed presumptive 10 deposition limit. Yeah, to exceed the 10 deposition limit. Okay. Attach here to Exhibit 6, 9, Certificate of service. All right, that's nothing interesting. Exhibit 5. This looks like a long one. Boom. Exhibit 5. No, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Virginia Guffrey. Confidential deposition of Joanna Sojberg. All right, let's look for our friends here. What are the names we want to look for? I'm sure Clinton. This is the Bill Clinton in the helicopter thing. Did Ghislaine Maxwell ever tell you that she had flown Bill Clinton in her helicopter? Objection. The witness, I don't recall her saying that. So, had you met Kate Blanchett or Leonardo DiCaprio? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's back this up. I saw one press report that said you had met Kate Blanchett or Leonardo DiCaprio. I did not meet them. No. When I spoke about them, it was when I was messaging him, and he would get off. He would tell me on the phone a lot of the time, a lot at that time. And one time he said, "Oh, that was Leonardo, or that was Kate Blanchett, or that was Bruce Willis," that kind of thing. So name dropping, yes. So you had not met Kate Blanchett or Leonardo DiCaprio. I have not. Would you remember if you had? I would hope I would remember. Did you meet Cameron Diaz? No. Did you meet Bill Clinton? No. Did you see Bill Clinton on the island? No. Did you see Bill Clinton in a helicopter being flown by Ghislaine Maxwell? No. Did Ghislaine Maxwell ever tell you? Was Bill Clinton a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Objection Foundation. Let me back up. Do you know if Bill Clinton was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? I knew he had dealings with Bill Clinton. I did not know they were friends until I read the Vanity Fair article about them going to Africa together. Did Jeffrey ever talk about Bill Clinton? He had said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to the girls. There you have it. I think somebody else had mentioned this earlier. Boom. Epstein talking about Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Do you recall ever taking a trip to Jeffrey Epstein's home in New Mexico? Yes. And do you recall who you went on that trip with? Sarah Kellen was there, Ghislaine was there, and that's all I recall. Do you recall why you went on the trip to New Mexico to work? Did you perform massages on that trip? Yes. Did you recall whether you performed massages with Sarah Kellen on that trip? No. Oy vey. Let's see. Let's do Trump here. Donald Trump's name comes up. All right, let's back this up a little bit. And I'm here, let me just be really clear. I'm not here to implicate anybody or anything. I'm just curious what's in these documents, as you all are. Just typing in some names that are probably of massive interest. I'm not suggesting that any of these people were involved in all these shenanigans or whatnot. Although I would say I'm not a big fan of the former president. I don't really believe that he was involved in any of the shenanigans. It would just be my personal opinion. But apparently when you run around in these social circles, you see a lot of these people, and it really sucks. Really sucks that all these people get thrown under the bus because of these evil people's shenanigans. Did any of the guests for whom you have a massage mention that they expected something sexual? No. Did they ask you to engage in contact and refused? Objection. No. Marvin Minsky. I don't know that. George Lucas. No. Donald Trump. No. Did you ever massage Donald Trump? No. Sorry, I have to ask, but did you ever have sex with Alan Dershowitz in the back of a limousine with Virginia and Jeffrey present? Witness. Absolutely not. Do you know who Alan Dershowitz is? He's apparently a very big part of all this. Wild. I do. You would remember. I would remember that. Did you ever see Virginia Roberts with any of the people that I just asked you about? No. Did Virginia ever talk to you about having been with any of these people? No. Did she tell you that she had just met any of those people? No. I believe you saw that police report in reference to a friend of Jeffrey named Glenn and his wife. Uh-huh. Do you remember them? Vaguely. What do you remember? So that's page 113. Jeffrey said, oh, okay. So we're sitting there. Answer, we were flying. Jeffrey said, why don't you go and sit in the cockpit and check out the landing? So we're sitting there, and the pilots told me to go back and tell him we can't land in New York and that we were going to have to land in Atlantic City. Jeffrey said, great, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to, I don't recall the name of the casino, but we'll go to the casino. And what happened with the ID objection? All I knew is that she was not going to be allowed to gamble, and so I spent time with her. We were just walking around. I don't remember what we did because either she didn't have an ID or she was too young. I don't remember specifically why. I just knew that she could not gamble. I'll just call up Trump. Yes, we went to one of Trump's casinos. So do you remember landing? Do you recall landing in Atlantic City? Yes, we went to one of Trump's casinos because he owns casinos, right? Yeah, he owns casinos. It's a Trump casino in Vegas. Who else? Okay, who are all the cast of characters? Andrew. Oh boy, his name comes up a lot. I came up and saw Virginia, Jeffrey, Prince Andrew, Ghislaine in the room. And did you meet Prince Andrew at that time? Yes. And what happened? At one point, Ghislaine told me to come upstairs. And we went into a closet and pulled out the puppet, the caricature of Prince Andrew, and brought it down. And there was a little tag on the puppet that said Prince Andrew on it. And that's when I knew who he was. Oh, my goodness. Put the puppet on Virginia's lap and said, and I sat on Andrew's lap, and they put the puppet's hand on Virginia's breast, and Andrew put his hand on mine, and they took a photo. Do you remember who took the photo? I don't recall. Oh, these people. Yeah, Prince Andrew is in this a lot. Look at all this. And didn't Prince Andrew deny having anything to do with all this nonsense? If I recall correctly. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's close this. Boop, boop. All right. Number 13. Oh my God, this is going to take forever. Share screen. Are you guys enjoying this? Let me know if you are. Oh boy. Photographed by CSI Pavlik and then videotaped by myself. This search was concluded at approximately 3:05, where Detective Ricari and I were the last two officers at the house. So this is a Palm Beach Police Department incident report from 2006. Upon announcement of the search warrant, immediate contact was made with three white males who came out of the house or surrounding structures. These males were identified as Janice Bonasiak, Daniel Estes, and Mark Zeff. As other members of the police department cleared the home, I kept watching of the three males. Once the house was cleared, the males were turned over to Detective Ricari. Oh, man. Green bathtub. The search was taken into evidence in the phone message. North of the kitchen was an office room containing a computer. The room had a closet and contained a locked gun locker. Combination was entered by I wonder what this is. Two massage tables were located in the closet, along with a photo of a nude female from the waist up. See property receipt for details. I searched two bedrooms and the adjoining bedrooms where they were located on the second floor. I found adult toys called twin torpedoes. Soap made in the shape of a penis and vagina were also found in the upstairs bedrooms. What a strange, strange world. I wonder if this is Epstein's house. Narrative number 15, reported by Joseph Ricari, 11/8/2005. So this initially was from, okay. Oh, man. Just. He introduced himself as Jeff. Epstein entered the room wearing only a towel and introduced himself as Jeff. Blank advised she recalled and removed the clothing down to their panties. Epstein lay on his stomach area and they provided a massage on his legs and feet area. So this is about the massages. Nothing happened to them. Also, Chelsea C. It seems like being morally corrupt is a prerequisite to be involved in U.S. politics and government. I'm so sickened by who's entrusted to lead our country, both sides of the aisle. Yes, I would agree. I would agree. Paying $200 for each girl. Trump. Dershowitz. Oh, Alan Dershowitz. The name comes up again. Within the package, there was a letter from Alan Dershowitz and 2 MySpace profiles. MySpace profiles. The profiles were that of blank and blank. MySpace is a social networking service that allows members to create unique personal profiles online in order to find and communicate with old and new friends. This package was in response to a previous meeting in which Mr. Dershowitz was called to assist in the investigation by providing additional witnesses, such as House employees who have been elected to speak with law enforcement. Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Now, here were some other people that were alleged in the article. I'm going to pull this up, guys. There's an article that I was reading on the other episode that I did earlier today. Regarding so we had Naomi Campbell, Vera Wang, Thornburg, Ehud Barak, Noam Chomsky, Larry Summers, Prince Andrew, obviously a big one. Can't believe Alan Dershowitz all over this. Fingerprints are all over it. What a crazy. So this is obviously a whole incident report. Oh, Leslie Wexner. On May 10th, 2006, information was received that Epstein's associate, Leslie Wexner, the Limited and Corp's CEO's plane had arrived in West Palm Beach. The plane was a Gulfstream 4 bearing registration, was on the tarmac at Galaxy Aviation as Epstein had recently acquired the services of a new attorney, and the fact that Epstein's house is currently under remodeling. It was believed that Epstein may be in Palm Beach. Wow. Just absolute wow. Dawn's Delight. Clinton messed with underage girls. Sure he did. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, so these are part of the ones that were released. There was a bunch that were released and there was a bunch that weren't. I'm just going through the drop that came today. Moving on. Exhibit 1. Oh, okay. Oh, Jeffrey E. An email from Jeffrey E. JEE vacation at gmail.com. You can issue a reward to any of the of Virginia's friends, acquaintance, family to come forward and help prove her allegations are false. The strongest is the Clinton dinner, and the new version in the Virgin Islands that Stephen Hawking partic- parti- participated in an underage orgy. Please note the information contained in this email communication is confidential and may be attorney-client privilege. The property of JEE. Oh, vey. Whatever. Exhibit Maxwell. Ross Gow. AcuityReputation.com. GMAX 2. GMAX and Philip Barden. Today's Daily Mail print edition on the web. Prince Andrew accused 2 teens, Jeffrey Epstein. And New York Daily News. Mom told a detective about her daughter's past drug abuse and also how many kids in Royal Palm Beach are involved in drugs, witchcraft, and animal sacrifice, according to a confidential report by Palm Beach County Sheriffs. Please remember to like the stream. Thank you so much, Black Widower. I can't believe I'm only like halfway through this. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay. This looks like email addresses. Oh boy. These are a little hard to read. Email chain with McGuffrey. Okay, so this is just. All right. Uh-oh. Okay. Discussion of evidence among client attorneys. Guffrey. Email chain with Guffrey Edwards. Email chain. Brittany Henderson. Yeah, this is like just a list of emails back and forth. The timeline, 2015. I'm going to go all the way to the end. Plaintiff Virginia Guffrey's revised supplemental privilege log dated May 27, 2016. Law enforcement entity. Email to law enforcement. Plaintiff has objected. Defendant's requests are overly broad and unduly burdensome. Yeah, so this looks just like all her emails. Nobody important. Nobody of note. Goodness. What a nightmare. Okay. Alan Dershowitz can kiss his career goodbye. Oh, yeah, for sure. Didn't he make claims? So hold on here. Let's. Lawrence Summers. Let's look at this article. Noam Chomsky. Let's see here. Alan Dershowitz. Jeffrey Epstein. First Epstein names unsealed. Unsealed documents name associates different, but offer few revelations. Says Alan Dershowitz said he wants every last document and piece of paper relating to late. Said he did not. Will prove he did nothing wrong. Virginia Guffrey. Yeah, no. He said he wants every last document and piece of paper relating to Jeffrey Epstein to be publicly released, asserting it will prove he did nothing wrong. Epstein. Um, wow. Yeah. Speaking on News Nation on Tuesday, Mr. Dershowitz said he wants all documents to be released in the case, accusing the judge of holding back some filings. Reason I wanted everything put out, and I don't think the judge put everything out, is I think she was selective in what she put out, and that's unfair. I want everything out, every document, every piece of paper, half truths or lies, and I wanted them out for personal reasons because I know that they would prove what I've said all from day one. I did nothing wrong. The woman who accused me later admitted that she may have misidentified me, confused me with someone else. So I wanted everything out right from the beginning. Yeah, I would say that he's probably done. I would say he's probably cooked. I'd imagine that's how that works. Okay. Yeah. Communication. Preliminary statement. This is all pretty much all the same thing every time here. Document requests. It's exhausting. Yeah, a lot of this is already a bit redundant. I mean, basically, the big thing is they're accused and everybody denies it. everybody's innocent. What a surprise! Everybody's innocent. Everybody's innocent. It's a frame job. I gotta tell you. Like Miss Maxwell likewise objects to this request. Document request, document request. More of the same. Clinton. From January 2012 to the present, produce all documents concerning any source of funding for the Tara Mar project or any other not-for-profit entities with which you are associated, including but not limited to the funding received from the Clinton Global Initiative, the Clinton Foundation, aka William J. Clinton Foundation, and the Bill Hillary and Chelsea Clinton Foundation, and the Clinton Foundation for Climate Change Initiative. Response: Ms. Maxwell rejects to this request on the grounds that it is overly broad and unduly burdensome, and calls for the production of the documents. Calls for the production of the documents are irrelevant to this action and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. Ms. Maxwell objects to this request on the grounds that it is propounded for the improper purpose of annoying or harassing Ms. Maxwell. Oh, man. Mar-a-Lago. Nope. Dershowitz. And he's just all over this. Produce any documents concerning a joint defense agreement entered into between you and Alan Dershowitz from 1999 to the present. Yeah. The thing that's crazy is that I think about this a lot when I think about legacy and things that you leave in this world. This is what these people are going to be. This is what all of these people are going to be remembered for. is their bad behavior, their misdeeds, abusing people. They are going to be remembered for just being really bad people, despite maybe good things that they've done in their lives, right? This is the legacy that they're going to leave at the end of the day, unfortunately. It's really sad. It's really, really, really sad that this is what people choose to do. Just thinking back to Alan Dershowitz saying he's going to be cleared. He's going to be, that's just rubbish. Response to motion to compel. That's a big old document. I'm going to try to speed up through all these here. Let's go to the end. Let's go to 40. So this is from, all right. Okay. This one is interesting. This is 40. This is Exhibit N. This is the last one. But this is essentially so identities of individuals likely to have discoverable information relative to disputed facts alleged with particularity in the pleadings. So Ghislaine Maxwell, Virginia Lee Roberts Guffrey, Kathy Alexander. Mrs. Alexander has knowledge about matters at issue, including plaintiff's whereabouts during 2000 to 2002 and her false claims concerning defendant and others. So is this... Oh, this is Ghislaine Maxwell's third supplemental disclosures. Now she lists all these people. So this is her defense. Complaint and plaintiff's pleadings and sworn statements and other litigations, including her publicly filed allegations concerning defendant and Alan Dershowitz. Ms. Booth has knowledge concerning matters at issue, including the date that Sky Roberts began working at the Mar-a-Lago Club and the Human Resources Department at Mar-a-Lago. Evelyn Boulette, Joshua Bunner, Carolyn Casey, Paul Cassell. Let's see, Alan Dershowitz. There you go. Dr. Mona Devasian. Some people who are redacted. That was probably Bill Clinton's address. Jeffrey Epstein. Annie Farmer. Alexandra Fikai. Anthony Figueroa has knowledge concerning matters at issue, including plaintiff's activities during 1996 to 2002. Louis Veach. Sheridan, Robert Guffrey, Ross Gow, Fred Graff, Victoria Hazel, Brett Jaffe. What a mess. Imagine going through this and finding your own name. Collier Landry. What? Why am I named on this list? Why am I being involved in this nonsense? Bill Richardson. I wonder if that was Governor Bill Richardson. Governor of Arizona, right? At one time. A lot of people here. A lot of people, guys. What a mess. Andrew Albert Christian Edwards, Duke of York. The Duke has knowledge concerning plaintiff's false statements to the press in court pleadings and in sworn testimony, as well as the events of 1999 to 2002. Witness identified by plaintiff in various versions of her Rule 26. Documents, data, and compilations, and tangible. I mean, what a just an absolute. I mean, there's so many. Oh, this is all the press articles, huh? News articles from the internet. Sordid Friends, Prince Andrew Unsavory Association. So look at all these articles. Exclusive Prince Andrew and Heidi Klum's hookers and pimps party in New York with New York socialite accused of procuring underage girls for her socialite boyfriend. Lawyers acknowledge mistake in filing misconduct charges against Alan Dershowitz. What an absolute mess. Goodness. That was the last one. I just skipped ahead about 20 documents. Let's see what the other ones are. 39. Oh, there's some colors here. Okay, let's see this one. I like it when color is involved in the documents. Share screen. If you are enjoying this content, please hit like. Helps with the algorithm, guys. Comment below. Do all the things. I appreciate it. Exhibit K. Via email. Laura Menninger. Half the plaintiff. Bates Guffrey. Designated as confidential. Blah, blah, blah. In accordance with your proposed protective order, please treat these documents accordingly. Production consists solely of all data that is responsive to defendants' various requests for production from Ms. Guffrey's iCloud account. The iCloud account. Dear Jenna, my suggestion for you is the Freedom of Information Act request for the information you're looking for because I'm not able to release information should there be any from FBI records. Robert Guffrey. G'day, Jason. I don't want to pain in your rear right now. I don't want to have this wrapping. I wonder. Yes, this is saying to file a FOIL. Let's see. Clinton. Anything Clinton? Oh. Nope. Trump. Dershowitz. Oh, yes. There it is. Guffrey giving legal advice to... Plaintiffs have objected to defendant's requests. All right, so this is more of the same. Yeah, these are just... Is everyone having fun? Yes. Have a good night, Court McNeil. Thank you for showing up. And presenting and supporting. Man, I'm getting tired, and it's only 8:30. Virginia Guffrey, Maxwell. Okay, I think I went through all of this earlier on the other live. Yes. 89 pages. Yes, I went through this on the other live. You're not going to go through that document. That was a long one. Not going through all 397 pages of that one. You can check out the other live. That was one document that I had gotten earlier. Oh, let's open up the thing again here. There are a lot. Queen Elizabeth is dying over and over again every time. Yeah, can you imagine? That's the thing, is the royals are so concerned about how everything looks, and this is like, oh, it's related to Prince Andrew. Oh, he's in this. I mean, just absolutely, just yeah. The Queen is dying over and over again over this. What an absolute embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment for anyone who's ever had, been associated with this guy. I mean, what an absolute embarrassment for everyone involved. It's, just something else. Due to safety concerns with respect to Miss Guffrey and her minor children, she is not at liberty to reserve her present residential address. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Jeez. Miss Guffrey can recall living at the following addresses during the period of 1998 to the present. Jeffrey Epstein also rented a residence for Miss Guffrey in Royal Palm Beach. The exact address and dates of rental are in the possession and custody and control of Jeffrey Epstein, Tony Figueroa, James Michael Ostrich, and a few other individuals for whom Miss Guffrey cannot recall the names of, stayed with her from time to time at the residence that Jeffrey Epstein rented. Blue Bay, New South Wales. So she must be Australian, obviously. A lot of Australia addresses. I've been to New South Wales. Sydney is in New South Wales. It's a state or province or whatever you call it. Identify any email addresses, email account. Miss Guffrey. Nothing too crazy so far. Other than I kind of think what we all knew, which is these are really bad people, involved with really bad people, involved with lots of money, and really bad behavior. I would say nothing too earth-shattering. Let's get the take on what the news media is saying. Unsealed documents. So Politico says unsealed documents name associates of Jeffrey Epstein, but offer few revelations. I'm going to go ahead and close out this window. Unsealed documents, newly unsealed court documents, court papers reveal related to Jeffrey Epstein continue to include the names of a handful of famous men whose associations with the late offender were previously known, but the documents provide few new disclosures about the nature of their relationships. The hundreds of pages of documents made public in federal court Wednesday included references to a number of wealthy and powerful people, including former presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, as well as Prince Andrew and the prominent lawyer Alan Dershowitz, but most of those mentioned have been publicly linked to Epstein for years. Trump appears in just a handful of stray references, including in one passage in which a deposition witness said she was never asked to have sex with him. Clinton, who sometimes flew in Epstein's private jet, is mentioned frequently in the documents. Neither Trump nor Clinton is accused of any wrongdoing linked to Epstein. Epstein, a registered offender who who unalived himself, as they say on YouTube, in a Manhattan jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal charges, was accused by prosecutors and dozens of women by having a years-long ring. Of all the men associated with Epstein who have denied participating in his exploits, Clinton said in 2019 he was unaware of Epstein's terrible crimes. In the wake of the charges against Epstein, Trump said he wasn't a fan and hadn't spoken to him in 15 years. Documents unsealed Wednesday were part of a settled civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's alleged victims, against Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend, who was convicted in 2021 for her role in helping recruit girls to Epstein's operation. The material was made public Wednesday after a federal judge ordered it unsealed. In order, U.S. District Court Judge Loretta Preska noted that in many cases, the references to specific people are not salacious. For example, the judge said a person's name may have arisen in a deposition question that was never answered. In other cases, she said certain individuals' associations with Epstein were already made public, either through media reports or because their names came up during Maxwell's criminal trial. Some of the men in Epstein's circle, most notably Prince Andrew, were themselves accused of participating in Epstein's ring. In 2022, Andrew settled a lawsuit brought by Giuffre in which she accused him of things. New York federal prosecutors who brought charges against Epstein sought to question Andrew after Epstein's death, but the efforts never resulted in an interview. While the documents unsealed Wednesday contained no bombshells, they did reveal a bit more fodder for those who have watched the Epstein saga unfold. In one 2016 deposition, Joanna Sojberg, who said she was hired to provide massages while she was in college, answered questions about Clinton. Did Jeffrey ever talk about Bill Clinton? He said one time that Clinton liked some young, referring to her, which we covered already. So apparently, according to Politico, we have hit all the highlights, Mover Nation. We have hit all the highlights. I got the document dump. There you go. I guess we're not missing much. We are an hour and 45 minutes into this live after doing a 2-hour live beforehand. So I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in. And for all my channel members, thank you for your support. For those of you that bought super stickers or super chats, thank you. For those of my Patreon members and Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Without you guys, this channel and this content would not be possible. I greatly appreciate all of it. It was a back-to-back 4 hours of lives today. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you found it as interesting and a deep dive, kind of going into all this stuff as interesting as I found it. So on that note, Mover Nation, we get through another one. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, y'all.
This podcast is made possible by support from listeners just like you. For exclusive content around this podcast, please consider supporting me via Patreon by going to collierlandry.com/support. Please subscribe via Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, and please leave us a 5-star review. If you want to see video episodes of this podcast, please check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/collierlandry. You can find links to additional resources in the show notes of today's episode. This podcast is a production of Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Collier Landry.